Hi, Harry.
Hi, I am really sweaty, horrible, and it's been the most traumatic 30 minutes of my life, but here we are again.
We were supposed to start this podcast half an hour ago. We had some audio issues that we thought were on Harry's side, but were actually so what it was doing, it was picking up the speaker on my microphone, not the speakers on my computer. So when I'm going, I can't hear you, and you think it's you.
And I'm having to do some sort of sign language to you saying, I'll be 2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Honestly, I'm sweating. It's horrible. And just for the thing, I do wash. I ain't got grease yet. I've just been sweating like a madman because iPads are useless.
You can't actually tell, but also it remains so dark in your room that no one would know anyway.
No, honestly.
Don't put the big light on. How's your week been?
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Just fantastic. Just great. I actually have no words. Just amazing. Yourself?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, there's a caveat to mine, though, isn't there? In that, so Stockport County never ever win on the first day of the season. Like the last time we won on opening day was against FC United, so that should give you some kind of idea of the longevity of it. And before that, I think it was Alfreton Town. So I'm kind of happy to lose because we've like the last few seasons we've lost and then we've gone on to have good seasons. So, it's fine. It feels like part of the journey. We won on Saturday. We now have not 12 injuries. We have 12 available senior players. So, yeah. So I know I was talking to Tom, who does one of the Blackpool podcasts, and I'm gonna go and talk to him about because we're playing them on Saturday, and he was like, "Wow, we're still shit, but wow, yeah." So we are playing Blackburn tomorrow night in the Carabao Cup, and that is going to be academy and scholars by the sounds of it, because we just can't risk
it.
Anything, and it probably won't be, but still football on Tuesday night, isn't it? So it'll still be nice, but yeah, not expecting great things from that. And of course, Blackpool on Saturday, they don't have a great away record, as we know from last season. And after losing to Crawley on Saturday, and this is, I mean, we have said not to underestimate Crawley, but we also didn't really know how it was going to go.
Don't underestimate them, but still put them in 23rd in your predictions.
Well, that's the thing, because the people, as much as it's gut, isn't it? Like head and heart, right? And your heart kind of wants Crawley to be the scrappy upstarts from last season with King Scott Lindsay, but at the same time your head's like, nah, it doesn't make sense. And
it doesn't.
I mean, they played on Saturday with two of their players from the playoff campaign. Two.
I was seeing a lot of people going, oh yeah, but we've had all these players who need to fit in and gel in, and excuses for not to win it. Crawley's pretty much got their own 11 and already won a game.
Yeah, I mean, Scott Lindsay is very much the glue holding it all together, and look, right. So I've got the Football League paper. I'm so excited about this. I used to get this when I was little, and I used to do the Fantasy League where you it was written down, you post it off and you put in the post. I mean, God, this would have been like many years before you even born, but it was a thing. And so I ordered this. I think I paid something like £10 for 5 weeks, And I
Yeah,
thought
it's
it was
£2 a week.
yeah, and it's £2.20 on the front if you buy it from the news agents. But I was expecting it to come in the post on about Wednesday because, you know,
Yeah,
post and stuff. It
weather events.
delivered weather events. It appeared delivered by an actual paper boy this morning. It was so exciting. I came downstairs. I would have got out of bed earlier if I'd known. And that might be my Monday morning routine now because I've not really had a chance to read it. But they interviewed Scott Lindsay, and one of the things that he said is that, you know, the players that have joined kind of know what they're in for in terms of they are kind of going against, like last season, going against expectations. I'm trying to find the, he called them new heroes. Yeah, goals from Hepburn Murphy and Junior Critrina.
And let's be honest, they wouldn't have conceded if it weren't for such a,
Oh
well,
my
I'm going to call it fluke.
God, it's an awful. It was just one of those goals that haunt goalkeepers. Like there was one in League Two last season, wasn't there, where the player kind of hid behind the post and then.
Oh no, that was 2 seasons ago. That was Danny
What?
Rose, former Mansfield player for Stevenage. Goes behind keeper, robs the ball, puts it in net, job done. And, you know, it's typical Steve Evans, that type of player.
But Corey, I mean, it was a Corey Adai type.
Yeah, I mean, you could take Corey Adai out of Crawley, but you can't take out his legacy there.
No, but you know what? Like he obviously kept a clean sheet for us, which was great on his debut. And Charlotte on the Friday night, we played Blackburn pre-season, and he won man of the match, and Charlotte got to give him the man of the match on the pitch. It was so lovely. But he's so big and she's so tiny. But yeah, there were flashes of the Corey Adai that has always scared me on that Friday night, in terms of he was making saves, but they almost looked accidental, like saves like he had no right to make, or would, you know, he'd kind of turn around and it'd come off his backside or something.
Yeah. Just touching back on Crawley, well, mainly Blackpool. I do wonder how much obviously we've seen Ryan, obviously not our league, but Ryan Lowe's got sacked.
Yeah.
It didn't work last year. But how long will Critchley have? Because the fans are already against him. I mean, you look on their comments, it's sack him now. I mean, even at half time, it was like, get him gone.
Well, you can't have the away record that they had. And if you're not consistent at home, I know that their record was better at home, but like Wrexham had they had like the best home record in the league and the worst away record in the league at one point last season. And they managed to kind of reconcile that. But if you can't, then, I mean, they only finished just outside playoffs, didn't they? So they weren't miles off.
Yeah, but that's where they should be. Blackpool should not be a mid-table League One team. They should be trying to fight to get out of this division. But, I mean, losing 2-1 to Crawley on your opening day is quite poor. And the goal you're scoring is, let's be honest, 9 times out of 10, that does not happen.
No.
You know?
He was quite pleased with their performance, though. Like, whether that's to try and pacify the fans.
I saw the comment section of the interview as well, where he goes, where you see all the fans going, was we watching the same game? But, you know, because, you know what, I'm sorry, you can't tell me, right, that they have pulled off a masterclass when they've scored the flukiest goal ever and conceded 2.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think he'll last. I'll put it out there. I think he'll end up going and he'll be first manager gone.
I think it'll depend on how they show up on Saturday. So first home game of the season, coming off the back of what is honestly, well, no, you can't say this. I was going to say it's an embarrassing defeat, but knowing what I know about Crawley, I don't think it is, because, like I say, you absolutely can't underestimate them.
Second goal, though, for Crawley. What a finish.
Oh,
What a finish that is.
there were some insane goals over the weekend, like goal of the season type goals that have got no right to be scored on the
Ooh,
opening game. Oh
I'm back.
dear.
Yeah, I'm back. I just got a phone call on my phone and it just came up on my iPad. That's why it kicked me off. But yeah, I mean, well, we'll get on to the goals later. I think I know which three you're going to speak about because it'll be probably the same three I'll speak about later on. But for Crawley, you just sit there and you think, surely not playoffs again. If they get playoffs again, I don't even know. I think I might turn up to Crawley.
Have you seen, so as I'm sure you will remember, I've not actually looked to see where Crawley are. So, you know, they do on football web pages, they have the league table, but they also have a predicted league table. Now, I'll caveat this by saying I don't think it's as intricately researched as the supercomputer is. I don't think it takes as much because on the face of it, it's only going off one game at the moment, and yet it's got Stockport County as champions. Oh, Crawley are 7th, Wrexham at 8th, Mansfield are 12th. So, but the reason I think it's a bit odd is because Huddersfield, who are top or second, depending on which league table you look at, are 5th. So why would Bristol be second? It's really weird. It's got us winning the league on 66 points with a plus 80 goal difference. I don't even know how. And it's so relegated teams: Northampton, Rotherham, Shrewsbury, and Cambridge.
Oh, I'd love, and I'm sorry, Rotherham fans, because I don't actually have an issue with Rotherham. I just have an issue with your manager. If I saw Steve Evans get relegated, I think I'd do a parade around Mansfield. Like, I genuinely dislike the bloke.
It's really interesting as well because obviously the Rotherham fans didn't really get to know him too much at the end of last season because
they knew him already from.
Yeah, I know, but like,
he's bang out of order. His actions on Saturday after a game, that's bang out of order, man. I don't know what's gone on during game, but you always shape the opposite managers.
He was complex. Hang on, right. The other thing that I love about the Football League white paper is they rate the referee. So he was complaining about the referee, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So let's see. 7 out of 10. It was Paul Howard. The game was rated 2 stars out of 5. Yeah, and just the 1 goal for Watts in the 71st minute, who was a super sub.
Honestly.
But yeah, I mean, he said himself, he did in the post-match stuff, he didn't actually talk about the referee. He said, you know, you can't come and miss 4 chances, which is that's absolutely fair. But to not shake the opposition manager's hand in the way that he did as well, you know, he walks over completely, hand outstretched, doesn't he?
And it's just the way you don't even act. He just blanks him. You don't look at him. You don't do anything. And then when he turns around to like look at the referee, Caldwell's still there, who's the Exeter manager, and he's just blanking him again. Do you know what? We had it at Mansfield, and you don't realise it when he's at your team and you're winning games. But he was a mad ass there. He blamed everything but himself.
Yeah.
And his interview after, where he goes, "Oh, I had a 50-50 choice between that Dylan Phillips and Cameron Dawson," and he goes, "Well, I made the right decision, didn't I?" Well, you didn't, mate, because you still fucking lost 1-0.
I hate that. I hate when managers. So Dave Chalney used to do it. He doesn't do it anymore, but would single players out. I mean, I know that's different because in a way he was kind of complimenting him, wasn't he? But
Clough did the same. I think what you're going to say.
I really don't like it. I feel like that's a conversation for a Monday morning in your office. They you know, players are incredibly attuned to their own performance and will beaten themselves enough without managers citing them for it, and then there being like a fan pile on, which there often is on social media.
I mean, let's be honest, right? In that first half, I remember looking at the stats because I had them on my bet, and I was thinking, £66 cash out. Do I stick and try and hope that Birmingham turn it around against Reading, and hope Rotherham get a winner, or do I cash it out? And I stuck with it, but then I saw the stats. 1 shot at half time.
Yeah.
For Rotherham. Don't get me wrong, Exeter only had 2, but you're a newly relegated team with a new set of players, one of the best strikers in the league, and you have 1 shot. Yeah. And he sets out his team so miserably. You know, I genuinely could see, and I had them at the playoffs in my predictions. I can see them underachieving this season under him, because I just don't think his football suits how Rotherham need to go about in this league.
I mean, Charlton won 1-0 against Wigan. They only had 2 shots on target, but it doesn't, you know, if everything else is there and, you know, you're taking that shot and converting it, then that's what matters. But to be in that position, coming down from the chat, yeah, it's.
And Charlton, let's be honest, right? You've got Charlton versus Wigan. They're 2 playoff candidates this season, and no disrespect to Exeter, I don't expect them to be up there, and they still need more time to consolidate themselves in this league. But you know, you wouldn't expect Exeter to go out there and go all guns blazing, but they still put in a good shift. And you know what? People are underestimating them, including myself. But you know what? Fair play. They've got a 1. Yeah. Everyone writing them off.
And there was only Huddersfield of the 3 teams that came down that won.
Yep, that was. I don't know. I think we should have expected it, but at the same time, I expected Peterborough to at least score a goal.
Yeah.
You know, I think they're not happy with Ricky J. Jones at the minute because he misses a sitter. I've watched the highlights back. I think it's a sitter. He's like throwing a goal and misses a sitter, and he should put it away. And you know, it's what it is, isn't it?
But then I mean, yes, they've got Ricky J. Jones, but they've got Chris Clark, who, yeah, there's, I mean, Nevitt wasn't in the squad, but Chris Clark has been in at Altrincham for however long. You know, never played as far as I know, never played above that level.
They've got Mothersill as well. He's good talent.
Yeah,
good talent, Mothersill. You know, Peterborough, realistically, right, have a really good attacking team. They've got Randall as well. They've got Joel Randall. He did well. He got a good attacking return. I think he nearly got 20 goals and assists in League One last season. I know he got 10 goals, but I can't remember how many assists. But you know what? I do see Peterborough coming good. And
yeah, I mean they've been there. They've been playoffs or thereabouts for the last 2 seasons, haven't they?
Yeah. They were playoffs last season. I thought they'd have gone through the playoffs at least into the final, but Oxford pulled out.
Yeah, and the season before they had that incredible win in the first leg over Sheffield Wednesday, and then
because that's where Christy Pym, our keeper, put managerial masterclass after he got beat. Yet he was still contracted to Peterborough,
right?
And it was so funny. I love Christy Pym; he's a hero. And I can't wait for the Christy Pym derby again. But,
oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, we'll be back. We
will
be there.
Ben Wiles, who's got a goal and an assist for Huddersfield. It's the first time. So he both scored and assisted for Huddersfield Town for the first time in the Football League. But he's previously done so as a Rotherham player in March 2022 against Lincoln.
But no, talking about Huddersfield, obviously Anthony Evans scored on his debut. I mean, I said he'd be a good signing. A Blackpool fan were arguing with me on Twitter, saying he's the worst player ever, etc., etc. But you know, don't get me wrong, it was a deflected goal, but winners win. He still got a goal.
And sometimes players just don't mesh or gel with a team, a manager, a group of players. Like Ben Whitfield, who's gone to Burton now. He went from Stockport to Barrow and was, you know, arrived at Barrow and played brilliant. I mean, his first game for Barrow, he scored against us, and he was University
3-0,
was
wasn't it?
it?
Was it
I
3-0?
don't remember the score exactly.
Yes.
Oh God. Well, I was going to say, like, we won't have Pete Well fist bumps this season, but I think he's a 10 game in managerial replacement, or maybe 1 game in the rate we're going.
Yeah.
I don't know who's. Have you seen who's in the running for Preston?
Challoner.
Nah. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
he gets linked with everything, doesn't he?
I've seen Challoner. I've seen who else I've seen. There was one more. There was one more that was dead notable, and I properly remembered it, and I thought that'd be a good fit. I can't remember it for the life of me now. But yeah, I don't know. Obviously, I can really see Pete Wild, ending up at someone bottom half in our league. I really can. I don't know who that'll be. I don't think Blackpool will be bad enough to. I don't actually think Blackpool would end up going for him. Never mind end up in the bottom half, but Critchley is. I can't look past it. For me, when he's lost the fan base like that, it's just a matter of time, isn't it? Who's got next? They've got you, haven't they?
Stockport.
Yes.
Yes.
They are back home.
On Saturday away. We're taking 4,000 fans because the population of Stockport is that excited about a day out to Blackpool in August.
Really?
Because we're classy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's about. We'd do that. I mean, we took 300-400 on Friday, and that was good. Very, very lively, and I'm not saying all Barnsley fans, and I'm not even saying majority, because I saw about 5 fans put on Twitter, why are they singing they are top of the league? Bounce around if you're top of the league. Because we're Mansfield Town, and we've been written off, and we were top of the league for about 12 hours, so we thought to just take the piss out of it.
Well, that's the thing. I think when it's that, like, it's almost that self-deprecation, isn't it? The teams that have been through the shit have, and not to make it about Wrexham again, but Wrexham don't really have that because of the way that they've come back up very, very quickly. Whereas, like, and you were joking about liquidating them, and it did not go down well. By contrast, a county fan, posted some proposed lyrics for a new song for Courier Die. It was ABBA, I can't remember, and there were about 5 county fans that replied saying liquidate, like, we need to go back, like, we don't deserve this. So yeah, it's just different. I think it's different senses of humor and different. It's black humor, isn't it? Like that kind of the way of dealing with things. I got a text saying we're top of the league at some point during the game on Saturday.
You was top of the league.
Well, we are on some still, and then it's something to do with, because on some leagues they take your finish when there's nothing else to separate you. They take your finishing place in the league before, and because we were promoted and Huddersfield were relegated. But yeah, we're second in most of them because alphabetical order. But yeah, Wrexham were top at one point because they were winning 3-1, and then last minute equaliser. Well, not equaliser. Last minute
consolidation goal by Sam Vokes. I'll tell you something, right? I'm loving it in this league. I just love the variety you've got in results. Like, you've got Crawley beating Blackpool. You've then got, on the other scale, Huddersfield doing as they should expect. You've then got Bristol Rovers popping a last-minute winner against Northampton, which I'm not really surprised. I had Bristol Rovers on my bet. I don't know with Northampton. I think they lack something. I really do think they lack it up front, and I'm not really sure how they'll get on. I think they'll be in that bottom 5. I don't know if they'll go down.
They're just a bit benign, I think. There's nothing really going for them. And even the season that they went...
They've lost Kieran Bowie, which isn't ideal. But the only reason why I don't want to say, they're definitely going down is because John Brady, like Scott Lindsay, is a great manager. So... I'd like to see Northampton stay up. I mean, I don't like the away day. They've got one pub, and it's at top of the hill.
And you have to park at the top of the hill and walk down, which is fine on the way down, but if you've lost and you've got to walk back up, it's not so much fun, especially since county fans were throwing bottles and I got caught in the crossfire. So
I mean, in my case, you could be 2-0 down on a Tuesday night. Man just got sent off, so you're walking up to the pub to have a couple of pints before game ends.
Yeah.
And then, like, feel your calf cramp up and think, fuck, I might need to start doing some fitness training at this rate.
Is that when you decided you'd start playing football and then complain about your injuries every week?
Yeah. I mean, I'm playing on Wednesday, which isn't ideal, but yeah, I mean, you know, we won't talk about injuries because it's a sore subject, won't we? You know.
Which game did you watch on Saturday?
Oh, are you ready?
Yeah.
I watched Burton Lincoln first half. And then I thought, I've got a bet on. I'll switch over to the other game, Birmingham Reading. But Burton, wow. Going forward, wow. Going defence, opposite way you're saying wow. Like,
oh, really?
Like, I thought they were, obviously it's going to happen because they've got new players in defence and they've got pretty much a whole new team. But going forward, they looked like the dog's bollocks. That's the saying. You know, they looked unbelievable. They're passing the ball around. You know, I think they had Lincoln on strings, to be honest, in the first half with how they were going forward. But
Lincoln, I can imagine like L passing forward to Orsi would be very similar to that kind of matchup he had with Carl Hendry.
And to be honest, I'll tell you something with that. They could have got it back. They missed a few chances as well. This player, I don't know how to say his name. It begins with a K. Burton fans, you know who he is. He ran through a goal and he's just put it straight at the keeper. And I'm like, just score. You can score that. But no, I was really impressed with Burton. Lincoln, not so much, because I have higher expectations of them because of where it should be.
They have got, so they've not lost in the last 10 away games.
Scribala's just unbelievable as a manager, though.
He's just signed a new contract as well, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. But no, the only reason for like my little Lincoln, like, well, I'm not impressed is because I know how good they can be. I just think defensively, that's not the Scabala I know. Like, defensive tactics. Not the defensive tactics, I mean defending, obviously, because going forward, they're good. And you don't score 3 goals away from home with half a new set of players and not be good going forward. Do think they need a striker, but that's about it. And Tom Bayliss, wow, what a player. Tom Bayliss, 2 assists, and he played immense. Yeah, but I'm impressed with both. I just think I had higher expectations for what I was going to watch of Lincoln. I think that was the issue.
I think what we got from Burton was probably better than it could have been, given the amount of change in their squad.
Are expecting it not to flow at all.
No,
obviously with
that's a really good sign.
And you've got to give it to Robinson. You know, you've got to give it to him because, you know, to get them players turning up and playing that well, when it were almost like they were playing for like middle of January and they'd been playing for ages. That is going forward because defending, like I said, not that great, but it was just sloppy mistakes, and I think they'll rectify that. Yeah, they were impressive, and in fact, I hate to say it, they could not be in that bottom 6 if they keep that style of football up, but we'll see.
Burton, I think I've decided that they would be like mid-table, given the level of investment.
I'm not too sure. It just depends. But if that's how they play in the first game and that's a new team, then they've got any chance in the world.
Have they got? Who was it that Harry Istad went to?
Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't have. Well, I saw some. I didn't think personally he had a good game, but Burton fans were sticking up for him and saying, "Well, you're just sticking up for Max Crocombe because longevity, etc." But I didn't think he had a good game, to be honest.
Mm.
But yeah, that were a good game. I think we may as well go and speak about how poor Birmingham was.
Were they? So I've only seen highlights, and when you've got a scoreline like that, and Reading were leading for a long time, weren't they?
Yes.
It doesn't always reflect the actual gameplay. So go on, tell me about who scored Reading's goal, Harry?
I don't know how to say his name.
I was practicing it earlier. We'll just call him Calvin. We'll just call him Calvin. He was really good, and he was in the league. I keep saying League 2, League 1 team of the week.
Yeah, and deserved. He played really well. Not just the goal, just his overall play.
Mm-hmm.
And props to Reading, actually. Not got the best squad depth. They should not have had a chance in that game with no signings, still off the field issues. But I think, again, as I said about Mark Robinson, a testament to Ruben I don't know, I'd say his name Saez, whatever. It's Spanish.
Yeah.
To get them players like up for it and wanting to go at these league favourites who, let's be honest, should be dead certs for that game. They just made them look like a normal team.
I had Birmingham and Port Vale as my teams on the EFL Fantasy League because I was just like playing Reading. I was just absolutely sure that was nailed on.
I think the problem with that EFL Fantasy is I had fucking Rotherham and Blackpool. The two teams who have probably been the most. You can tell who's let me down on my bet and who's not let me down on my bet of the teams that's lost. Because Rotherham let me down for 440 quid, so did Birmingham. Blackpool let me down in EFL Fantasy, and that's why I'm so critical of them, because I'm just bitter. I'm very bitter.
It's personal.
It is personal. But I think the problem with Birmingham that I kept saying was, do you know how Keeler would do it for us last season, where he'd just be a player who can turn the game just like that? They lacked that on Saturday. They really did. But again, they've got a load of new players, and I'm not writing them off. I think they're still going to win the league. And they've brought in a player who could have been playing in Champions League qualifiers tomorrow.
Yeah. So, it's one of those as well. Like, the stats don't mean anything if you don't score the goals, and obviously their goal was a penalty. But Hannah,
Football League paper time. Check their refs rating.
I love that we've gone like fully monologue. Yeah, because I have Alfie May on my score on my Football League thing. I feel like this needs an index. Oh, I know where it's just. It made me laugh. This right. So Stockport County, I've got like a double page spread, and then that's Birmingham there.
So, I can't wait for this because it's Will Finney with the worst ref I've ever seen.
8 out of 10. So I think that's one of the highest, because we had Seb Stockbridge, who scored a catastrophic 6 out of 10. Although for Sebastian Stockbridge, who I'm not normally a massive fan of, he wasn't that bad until he went on one of his standard yellow card flurries at about.
I'm sorry.
Minutes.
Did you see that pass back in the Birmingham game?
Yeah.
And he gets an 8 out of 10.
I didn't do it. The game got 2 out of 10. 2 out of 5.
Yeah, about right. I'd probably put it at 1, to be honest.
But no. Chris Davies said that overall he was pleased. They dominated. The fans were brilliant. And Sellers said that he was happy with what he saw from Reading. So, to be honest, Reading were probably delighted to come away with a point.
Yeah. I wouldn't say so. I think before the game they just snapped your hand off for it.
Right. No, that's what I mean. Yeah. Rather than
they'd have wanted the 3. I think the penalty is a penalty. It's just a harsh one. His arm is close to his body, but he has length into it. It is harsh, but it's a penalty under the rules. But yeah, Birmingham just lacked that spark, that creativity, you know. And to be honest, I think they'll get that. They'll be fine. I just think first game, no worries. I mean, I know I've came and slagged off Critchley after one game, but you know, I just think Blackpool fans will probably agree with me on that one. But I don't know. Should we go with Bolton? Bolton 2, Leyton Orient 1.
Yeah.
I mean, Bolton.
Do you know what? I can't remember what it was. I had some thoughts on this. It must have been inspired by the Football League paper.
I just couldn't believe. I still can't believe that Scott Arfield's in League One after playing in a European final about 18 months ago. Near enough 2 years ago, actually. Or is it 18? I don't know.
I've forgotten as well. They've got Josh Dacres-Cogley, haven't they? Who, again, I've got in my fantasy league team because really rated him over the last couple of seasons.
He was so good at Tranmere. Was it Tranmere?
Yeah, he was at Tranmere, and I think he went on loan somewhere last season, didn't he, as well?
No, he stayed at Bolton. Played well.
Yeah.
I really rate Bolton. I really do. And I think the signings they've done are quality. And, I mean, I don't actually know much about the game. Obviously, they won. But, oh, wait, no. I'm reading on this, Hannah. They had 2 shots and scored 2 goals.
Yeah, I mean, Everett said that it was he credited the subs with transforming the game. I think, was it Hemming came on?
Yeah.
Scored.
No, Adebayo. Yeah, him. Adebayo. Well, I don't know. I know it. Where his first touch at the game, he gets the ball in box and just it drops to him. He just fucking smashes it and it goes in and the win.
Adebayo. I was like, who are you talking about?
Yes, but he scored with his first touch. And obviously Bolton, they win 2-1. I thought they would. Just didn't look impressive. Just looking on their stats, but yeah, I didn't see much of the game because my head was fully on Burton Lincoln and Birmingham.
Do you know what was interesting about this one? And it's a common trend across quite a few of the games, and I think it's nice given that it's the beginning of the season. So Richie Wellens got booked for dissent in the second half, but at the end was, given that they'd lost, very positive about the team, happy that and I think the first few games of the season are really just a continuation of pre-season, aren't they, in terms of still getting up to match fitness. I remember Grant McCann at Donny last year saying, we need patience. It's going to take the players time to get back up to full match fitness. And this was like tail end of August. They're at whatever percent fitness, and there's still a way to go.
Yeah, and I think I was listening to a commentary on Saturday. We were in the first game. I watched Leeds versus Pompey. I forgot what player they had on, but they said it takes about 5 or 6 games until that 90 minutes feels a formality.
Yeah, but
and I agree. And I think you could actually tell that within our game that we played against Barnsley that, you could see Quinn after 45 minutes were bollocks. Same with Gregory. And I think you could tell it still felt like pre-season for Barnsley because within 20 minutes, we could have been 3-0 up if Deji Oshlaja weren't just stood in the middle of nowhere in the box and just tried to get a flick onto something that were already going in. But, they were slow off the pace and, they did play well. But I'm going to be controversial and say I'm going to be biased. I'm always going to be biased. I do think we deserve the win. If a newly promoted team just comes out and starts like that against a playoff hopeful team, we deserve the win. And I'm hoping Keeler Dunn looks at that and thinks, this is the place where I want to be for the rest of the season.
So Keeler Dunn has been heavily linked with Barnsley to the extent that quite a lot of people expected that he wouldn't play on Friday because that was kind of part of the alleged terms. Is it all gone quiet again?
It had and hadn't. Apparently, someone saw his family member speaking in car park. Someone saying, "Oh yeah, he's gone. He's gonna be leaving, etc." Clough comes out today. No agreement made. And you know what? I think I'm just fed up of hearing about it. I'd rather just get on with our season. He's either gone or he's staying. You know, I think Mansfield need to set that ultimatum pretty quick because
they probably already have.
They could have, but you can't go into these last 2 weeks of the window trying to look for a replacement of someone who got 32 goal contributions last season. And but that being said, Barnsley desperately need 2 strikers because Max Waters, he could have had about 4 if he put his chances away.
Well, they've been linked with Jake Young previously, haven't they, Barnsley? And so today, Bradford have brought in a striker on loan, which would suggest that they need to offload one of their strikers. Jake Young has been
tip for Stevenage
and Kemp, but if that Barnsley link up has been revisited, then that might make a bit of sense.
I mean, Stevenage won as well that weekend. They won 1-0 against the team Shrewsbury, who's had 0 shots in your first game.
3,357. Oh goodness, that wasn't even the smallest one, but I suppose the smallest one was Crawley.
Yeah. Honestly, Stevenage, wow. I mean, they've won 1-0, and what a goal by Elliot List. I mean, we'll go on to goals for the last 5-10 minutes or so. But Elliot List's goal is so underrated because of how good the rest was. He cuts in, smashes it, and I mean, he's got to hit it perfect into the bottom corner. He just smashes it into the bottom corner. It's a beautiful goal.
I think we've kind of gone round everyone. We'll do Wrexham and Wycombe and a little bit on Stockport, and then we'll talk about goals because we need to.
I just want to ask how Lewis Brunt's first game at season was. That he played 90 minutes. And
so I don't know the answer to this. Did he play at all?
He didn't even make the bench.
So that makes sense because he was in my fantasy league team, and I was looking at it like, oh, he's not. And I kept meaning to go and check, and then
I don't think he's injured. They didn't mention it in his preview.
I feel like they've done this before, though. They did it with Luke Bolton when he arrived from Salford. They kind of seem to keep them at arm's length and then jettison them in. But I mean, Stephen Fletcher scored. I mean, that's what Stephen Fletcher does. For those of you who are unaware of Stephen Fletcher's work, he basically comes on as a sub and scores. Yeah,
like genuinely came on. How many times he came on last season? Just scored.
He hasn't got. I don't think he's got 90 minutes in him. He's got half an hour and a half.
But that half hour is like top quality.
Yeah.
And you know what? Fair play to Wrexham. I mean, Percy, who comments on our Twitter quite a lot, he was saying they had a really good 35 minutes, but then Wycombe came into it for the last 10. You know, fair play to Wrexham. And you know what? While we're speaking about Wrexham, fair play to all 4 promoted teams to win your first game.
So, when was the last time that happened, Harry?
I didn't. 1992.
91, 92. So 91, and it's only happened one more time before, and that was 64, 65. And what someone's asked, and I'm going to do it, but I just need a little bit of time, is then what happened to those four promoted teams in those seasons? Like where did they finish?
Yeah, I did see that message actually. But I'm hoping it says all 4 teams staying up, because if it says one went down, I'm just making myself think it's going to be Mansfield all season.
Cannon re-signed another contract. That's Andy Cannon, who actually, no, that's unfair now because they're in League One, but when he was with us, he left us because he didn't want to play in League Two, and then went and signed for National League Wrexham.
Yeah, but he gets Las Vegas trips, doesn't he? You know, if they go up.
Well, someone, I think it's Stephen Fletcher, said to the BBC like how much he enjoys that like Hollywood element of it. Like, why wouldn't you? You get to go to Vegas. Like when we talked to Billy Waters last season, Billy Waters, who is back at Wrexham and hasn't gone out on loan anywhere, but he said, you know, it was one of those opportunities. It's not just the club; it's the whole thing that goes with it.
You're not going to get it again, especially if it is, you know.
No.
And I mean, can I just say, Ollie Palmer, I don't like him, but his touchdown goes so unnoticed.
Yeah.
For that Jack Marriott goal, just because of how good it was. And I don't like Ollie Palmer. I really dislike the bloke. I think it's an absolute grade A tosser. But it's a great touchdown and credit where credit's due. And fair play to Wrexham, you know, 3-2 win. I mean, Wycombe, they lost last season, first game, 3-0 to Exeter. Might just be a formality of losing your first game and going up from there. And they didn't get battered. Let's be honest, they didn't get battered.
No.
George Dobson had a good game.
Like that, the Sam Vokes second goal was 89 minutes. They weren't, you know, rolling over and giving up. So yeah, but yeah, the Max Cloweth goal was soft.
Apparently that was his 100th league appearance as well. Someone correct me, but I'm sure I saw something on it. I think I might be wrong because I swear he made his debut last season.
Don't know. Maybe he played something before. But Marriott's goal was incredible in terms of the touch, the control, the, you know, so, like, I think it's the way it, in style, it's quite similar to Louis Barry's, but whereas Louis Barry's is the kind of thing you would see on one of those YouTube videos when kids are like practicing their trick shots. Marriott's goal was, you know, placed and set up and controlled.
Thought through. It was thought through.
Yeah.
And this is where I'm going to annoy you a little bit. I think his goal is goal of the week instead of Barry's. Like, just because of that aspect, like, he knew what he was doing. And I think it's fair enough. They're both great goals.
Yeah.
Let's just mention Stephen Quinn's as well. That nice little volley into the top corner. Beautiful.
It was a nice goal.
Well done, Jack Marriott, and well done, Wrexham, for ruining another Mansfield, what could have been another good Mansfield week with having goal of the week. Cheers, guys.
Well, no, because you still would have had Louis. But
defender, stole our second place, and now you're stealing goal of the week. You absolute. Actually, no, don't take that because they'll take it serious, and I'm going to get cancelled on Twitter.
Yeah, don't. No, let's leave them alone.
Yeah, I love you, Wrexham.
Yeah. So Stockport were the fourth of the four promoted teams to win on Saturday. Already somewhat injury ridden, now completely injury ridden.
Legend has it, Manchester Hospital is full of Stockport players.
Well, Stockport Hospital, actually.
Oh, you've got
on
you big time.
I know. Where I was born. Like, yeah. Lewis Bates continues to be phenomenal, and he is the one that I am most worried. I'm really hoping it was so he went off in the like 93rd minute or something. We had 6 minutes plus some extra of injury time, and I'm hoping it was just an impact injury on tired legs, and that's all it is. Jaden February, who obviously came from Colchester, at Colchester played a lot further back. He's playing in the number 10 shirt, which really bothers some people because he's playing much further forward for us, but was brilliant. Just got the assist for the second goal and just went up the wing. It was just lovely to watch. And then he came on as a sub. So we had that squad depth. We have the subs, and now we don't. But Tanto, Isaac Olafi's back Saturday. Macaulay Southern Hales isn't far off.
I swear he just spends all his time injured.
Oh, he's made out of Pringles. But we did that thing. We extended his contract for a year because he really hadn't played, and he wouldn't have anyone paying his wages if he'd have gone. But he is brilliant, and that's where the one kind of threat from Louis Barry, or for Louis Barry, is that when teams cotton on to him, and it took Cambridge a little while, but it took other teams less time last season because they knew they'd seen all the
what Louis Barry is.
of him. They just like near on assault the poor lad. So he'll end up injured. He'll end up just being so beaten down. But that's where Macca on the right-hand side was brilliant, because they were effectively leaving people unmarked. And so he'd just fire down on the right-hand side, bang it across to...
I swear he still got like 7 assists last season, and he were injured for most of it.
Well, he played in every single one of those, that run of wins he had. Yeah.
Mental.
Played in every single one of those and then got injured. So, yeah, he is. But he's brilliant when he's fit. He was brilliant last season. Yeah, and then the Louis Barry goal was at like 25-yarder. It was one, like, I think that you must practice it, because the angle, like where it just dropped down, keeper can't save it because he has to go backwards into his net to and then it's over the line anyway. I
told you Southam Hales doesn't even make his squad on the Flash Score app?
Oh, really?
No, he's not on it.
That's interesting.
But then when you type up his name, it says his name and Stockport County. Yep, 7 assists last season. I'm a football genius. Get it.
That's why you're here.
Yeah.
Right. So...
Well, I wouldn't be here for technical reasons, would I?
No. So we'll do this again, same time next week. It's available on YouTube at 6:30. Yeah, but it's not when it actually goes out. It'll go out tonight at some point. Hope everyone has survived the Carabao Cup unscathed and without further injuries to their players, if that is a concern.
Barnsley, thanks for the 3 points and keep away from Keeler.
See you next week.
Bye.